Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. This is video 2 of our Sugar Skull box. Video 1, all we did was the reveal and collect our supplies. So now I'll have the template as soon as my husband wakes up. I'll have him scan it and I'll upload it. But I mean, this is a simple shape. You can go to Google and just type in free printable sugar skulls. Now, sugar skulls do have the extra cheek pieces, but for this project, it was easier to cut the cheek pieces off and make more of a potato shape. It was just easier when you had to manipulate the box. You can add those cheek pieces in by, adding flowers. So anyway, so we just traced, all I did was trace the top and bottom onto my cereal box. And we're just going to go ahead and cut that out. So I'm just cutting. I cut on the line. So if you are cutting on the line, make sure you cut on the line for both of them. If you cut outside of the line, cut outside of the line for both of them. And I'm just using regular scissors, nothing fancy. Just whatever you do for one, you have to do to the other, or else it's not going to exactly match up. Which is okay because it's cereal box and so it is pliable, but you don't want your recipient struggling to get your lid on and off. Or maybe you do, and that's your Halloween trick. So, almost done here. Just cutting it. I guess I could have did this part off camera, but okay. So that goes in the recycle bin. And of course, I didn't trace which one. I didn't write which was the top, which is the bottom. But that's easy to figure out because the bottom is going to be smaller than the top. Okay. So now what we are going to do is the insides. I want mine to be black. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover the pieces. So I'm using the black linen cardstock. These are the 8.5 by 11 pieces. You can fit both of them on there nicely. So top and bottom. The reason why I'm hesitating is because I'm deciding if I just want to glue these down or if I want to trace it, and I think I'm just going to glue it down. For me, that's easier. Just going to take my glue, and you can do it the other way. You can trace it, cut it out, and then glue it on. But that's what I did here, and you can kind of see the brown because I cut it too small when I was cutting because I was watching TV. So I don't want to do that again because that box is staying with me on my mantle, but this one I'm giving away. So I want this one to be perfect. You know how that goes. The prototype always stays with you, and those little errors you don't mind. Okay, so just put that there. Glue this one on. You can use your silver tip with this if you want. I don't think I need it right now. Just scribbling. You don't need that much glue with the art glitter glue. You just need to make sure you have full coverage. Okay. Give it a second to dry. I'm going to varnish it with my little spatula thingy. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And again, if you're going to cut right up to the chipboard, you need to do the same thing with both of them. If you're leaving a little bit, which you shouldn't, but some people, that's just how they cut. They always leave a 1/16 of an inch no matter what. That's how my mom cuts. So, however you do it the same. So see, now I have full coverage. That makes me so much happier. And again, just cutting it out. You know, I used to be like the world's slowest cutter because I just overthought it. So now you just go for it. It's paper and glue. You can cover it up if you make a mistake. So don't even fret over it. So there's that. I am going to ink the edges on this one because again, I'm giving this as a gift. So just to get rid of that raw chipboard. Super quick, nothing fancy. I'm just getting rid of the raw chipboard. Honestly, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it makes me feel better. The first one I wasn't too concerned about on the coffin box or on the prototype of this one because it's just staying with me. And I'm okay with rough edges, but you know, when we're given for a gift, we are our worst critics. So there we go. You see, it didn't take me too much time. And this is just the Tim Holtz black soot. Right. Now, what we need to do is go ahead and trim out our inside pieces. So the inside of my box, I have the Matilda and Godfrey paper, and on the top I just have black. I like that. So I'm going to keep it like so. So what I'm going to do is, sorry, something's in my eye. Okay. Take my 1-inch pieces and do the same thing, just glue them down. So I'm using the 8.5 paper. So, you know what, I'm going to use the 12-inch paper. Only because I know I'm going to be using it for a different project. Yeah, so mine is actually, it's like 13 inches my cereal box was. This was the huge family one. Family honeycombs. So I'm just going to glue it up. Same thing we just did with the skulls. I'm just going to guess that's 12 inches right there. I can always add more glue. Just making sure you get that coverage on those edges. And put it down. Making sure it's getting all the way to the edge but not over. Okay. Ha, I guessed right with the glue. Okay, I'm going to cut that out first before I do the other one. Again, cutting right up to the chipboard, the cereal box. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this piece off. Okay, giving that glue a second to really adhere, varnish it. Yeah. Okay. Next one, exactly the same way. Just glue. And I'm pretty good at glue because I don't like my hands dirty. So that's why I love the tip of this, because I have control. And even if you put the little silver tip, you have way more control and you don't have to get your hands dirty. I know it's weird. I'm a crafter and I don't like dirty hands. Okay. Go ahead and adhere this one. and cut it out. Okay, so there we go. Cut the piece off. That's it. All right. So now we have our 2 strips that we'll be doing stuff to in a second. Let's move this out the way. Now you need your paper for the inside of the box, which I'm going to use. You know what? I think I'm going to change it up on the inside. No, I'm not. I'm going to keep it with the Matilda and Godfrey page. This is the Think to Remember page, is the page I'm going to use. So I'm just covering these inside pieces that I'm going to be using where my thumb is. Or do I want the stripes on the inside? I'm going to go with the stripes on the inside this time. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this 1/2 inch off. I just left it on so I could know the name of the page when I was telling you guys, in case you want, you know how you need to order like that one sheet because you need extra. So I'm using the other side, so I'm gonna, this is the back. Okay, again, just glue it, go. And again, guys, more feedback on these videos, how you like to see it. I know a couple people said they love this real time. So I'm gonna keep doing it in real time until somebody says they don't like it. And then maybe I'll try a different format. But me personally, I like the real time. That's why I love the live videos that Tammy and Kimmy do. Because the live video, you can see real time. And usually, you know, you're distracted by TV and, you know, it's a little bit slower, which I like. Because, you know, then there's the chat and everything like that. So you have time. Like sometimes with the YouTube videos, we tend to go a little fast because we've already made the project, so we know, you know, what to do. Okay, so there's that one. So I'm using the stripe side. Okay. And I did think about my stripe placement. I wanted my stripes to be vertical, so that's why I did it this way. If you want your stripes to be horizontal, then you need to turn your paper. I guess I should have said that first, but I didn't. Okay. Same thing here. We're just going to glue. And I don't know why I keep measuring, because I know it's the same measurement, but whatever. We all have our habits, right? Okay. Scribbling glue. And some of my YouTube videos are actual live videos that I'm recording, because I do craft with people sometimes, like on Periscope. So they're watching me while I'm recording the YouTube video. I don't do it often because sometimes you hear like the echo and it's weird, but you know, some of my crafty friends that live all around the world, we hang out like that. Okay. Okay. So those are done. Let me just cut off this honey. Okay. Really quickly, eke my edges. I don't know which is going to be top, which is going to be bottom, so we'll just do both. It only takes a minute. I mean, and with the black, it goes on so smooth that you don't really have to. I mean, you can see. I'm just trying to get rid of the raw chipboard. Cereal box. And I have the rectangle dauber thing, so it's getting both these, giving this edge, and it's getting rid of that edge. If you have the small round one, you may have to do it a little different. Or if you use the makeup brush like Kimmy, you may have to do it a little different. I don't know. I have the makeup brush, but for some reason it doesn't, I don't know. I'm not doing it right. So I have to go back and watch that video that Kimmy does. Because for some reason my ink doesn't stick to it, so I don't know. I'm sure it's user error. Okay, so those are all done. We are done with the ink. We're done with the glue for right now. Okay. Right. Now we want to go ahead and take our bottom piece. So we're going to set the top and that aside. We want the bigger pieces, the 2.5 inches. And we're going to take our first hinge. And we are going to connect our hinge to the back. So it's like this. Okay. You can take a little piece of your sorry, I had a little overhang there. You can take it little piece by little piece, like so, and keep peeling back, but for me it's easier just to do the whole thing and not overthink it. It doesn't matter which is the top, which is the bottom, unless you have directional paper. So I'm just lining it up. You can give your Scor-Tape a little once over with a glue stick to give it a little extra time before it sets in. Just your run-of-the-mill Elmer's glue stick. For me, it's easier to do it how I just did it. If it's easier for you to flip it over and then stick it down like that, that's up to you. Just make your life easier. Is that a 12-inch? So these ones are shorter because I just made them shorter. I don't know where my other 12-inch ones are. Doesn't matter. Like I said, it will not matter because you probably won't even use the whole piece. But it's easier to go ahead and prepare it for the whole piece and cut it off. Like I know you guys saw in the coffin box, like we had pieces like this left over. You can always use these for card fronts. I'm going to show you the technique with the glue stick. You're literally just running the glue stick over the Scor-Tape. So it kind of, I don't know if weaken is the right word, but it just kind of gives you that extra second with the Scor-Tape to place, move, and shift it. Okay. I am going to go ahead and add a small piece of this hinge to this one. Like I said, it's better to be prepared and not need it than not be prepared and need it. So just this little tiny bit, that's all I'm going to add to it. I'm just going to line it up and make sure it's even, the score lines match. That's it. Okay. Now, I did do the triangles without taking the Scor-Tape off. So you guys are going to see the difference because I make my hinges beforehand and I cut all the triangles. It's a pain. Like when we did the coffin box, we did the triangles after we took the Scor-Tape off. But I already had these prepared. So now you get the joy of peeling off all your little triangles. So I just wanted to show you both ways how to do it. It's really not that big of a deal, especially if you have a scrapey thing. You see they're just popping off. It's not a big deal. But you can always just do your keep your hinge solid, peel this off, and then cut your triangles, but that leaves sticky on your scissors. And like you guys saw in the first the coffin video, it honestly doesn't matter. Okay, so here's the bottom of our box, and this one, because it has more of the curves and not those straight lines of the coffin box, you are going to do some more manipulating. I am going to start at the curve. You can start wherever. It honestly doesn't matter where you start, but you're again just pulling that paper around. So my bottom is kind of underneath the panel. Oh, I'm doing it upside down. Somebody, yeah, don't do it upside down. Okay, sorry, we want the black up. See, I didn't push it down just yet for this reason. Okay, so we're gonna come back around. And if you do push it down and that was your bottom, well, then just trace and cover the top, you know, the other piece. It's not a big deal. Okay, so push it in and keep going. This is where you gotta be really manipulative, and this is why I do the triangles, because if you just had a straight piece, you can't really manipulate it around. Okay, so we're gonna keep going and keep pushing it around. Okay. So that's how it looks on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to take our next piece, pop off our triangles, or if you did it the other way, then peel your backing off in one piece and do your triangles now. Yeah, had a good run on that one. I keep my Scor-Tape backings, not too many of them, but a few of them, for projects like this. If I don't use all of this, I can just put a random piece of Scor-Tape backing back on it, and then I can use it for something else. Or you can just cut the triangles off and use the piece for card front. Okay, so this has a little piece on there still. Okay, again, this is your, if you want to line it up or if you want to overlap it. I'm going to line it up and put the spines on the outside. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Remember when we had to cut the little pieces and put the spines on the outside? You can do that. So you may see the gap on the inside, but you can just cover it up with a different piece of paper. Nobody needs to know. Or if you can, like for mine, I can fit it in right here and I can overlap it. So if you can do that, do that. Or I'll just cover it up. No mistakes in scrapbooking, right? So I need this to be a little bit more in. It didn't overlap exactly how I like it, so I just picked it up and going back through. And see how I'm just kind of holding this tight and pulling it. You know, make this paper and box work for you. You're in charge. Okay. So going. going, and I think I'm going to go ahead and overlap it. Last time I didn't, but this time I think I want to. So this has stripes, so it's easy to find a cut mark. I don't know where my good scissors went. So I'm just cutting on one of these lines, probably this black one, because it's easier for me to see. Okay. And again, I'm just going to pull it around and push it in, let it overlap. See how I'm really pushing it on these curves to make it have that shape. Now I'm going to go in with my bone folder and just give it a good go. Same thing on the bottom. Okay. So now I need to get rid of this disconnect. All I'm doing right here is I'm going to pick this back up because I didn't line it up properly. So, you know, line it up. And I'm just going to take a piece of a hinge that's not triangled out, and I'm just going to hinge it like this. Okay, does that make sense? So 2.5 inch piece. Just so I'm connecting the box, you can put the glitter glue in here, probably, and fit it all, but I mean, you see how awkward this is for me to, I don't do awkward, I do easy. And then you gotta hold it and everything like that, so I'm just gonna do the hinge. Because it'll hold it tight enough, and then the box lid will hold it. So all I'm doing is matching the score line with that gap. And there you go. That's it. That's what I'm going to do to the other side. I'm not even going to try with the glitter glue. Ouch. Okay, I just lost that hinge somewhere. Oh. Right. Again, it's a 2.5 inch piece. You can measure it and cut it. I'm just eyeballing it. And pop it. Okay, again, matching the gap with the score line and making sure the two cardboard pieces are lined up. I don't care if the hinge is lined up, because you're not going to see it anyway. Okay, so now our box is complete. Okay, now I'm just going to make sure that the hinge is not overlapping here, which it is just a smidge bit. And this side, it's a lot of it overlapping, so we're just going to cut that off. So right now what I'm doing is just kind of pushing this in to give it that skull curvature. And once we put our lid on, our lid is really going to give that shape, right? Okay. So that's it for the bottom. We can do our strips around if you want. This movie is 30 minutes, so let's go ahead and we can cut our strips out of that same piece of paper that I used here. So let's go ahead and cut out our 2.5 inch strips. We need probably 2 of them. So 2.5. This is our outer box. And 2.5. Okay. And again, we're just doing the outside. If you don't want to show any black, then do them at 2.5 by 2.5. If you want to show some black, this one I did at 2 inches. I want to show a little bit of black, so I'm going to cut off just a smidge of each of them. So I'm cutting off about 1/8 of an inch off of each of them. You can do it however you like. And yeah, see, that's what I like. Just that little bit of black showing on the bottom. I'm going to Scor-Tape mine. You can art glitter glue, you can do whatever. But for time and convenience, I'm using Scor-Tape. And Tammy sells Scor-Tape in her store too, so just one-stop shop. Get everything you need for your project. And depending on where you live, there was one time that I got my package the same day. Like, I'm not even lying. I ordered it at, okay, so I ordered it like probably 3 o'clock in the morning, because you know that's what we do. And somehow she got it in the mail that day, that morning, and I got it the same day. So I'm sure that's not the norm, but it was pretty awesome. But normally I get everything within 2 to 3 days, which is, you know, way faster than what you expect. Okay, so we're just putting the Scor-Tape on super fast. So video 2 is really the meat and potatoes of this, because once you learn how to do it once, you can do the top. You're going to do it exactly the same way, just with the smaller portion. Okay, let's go ahead and pick these off. Again, you can do the glue stick method. You can glue as you go. For me, when I go too slow or I overthink it, I never get it straight. If I just plop and go, it goes straight. I don't know why, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, I can't create unless my desk is a hot mess. So it's kind of the same thing. I'm just picking a spot to start at. Doesn't matter where. And I'm just gonna go around. And so you don't want to like smush it all. You don't want to smush it hard, because you know once that Scor-Tape touches, it's done if you don't use the glue stick method. But if you're doing the glue stick method, it doesn't matter. Okay, see, popped and went. I'm good. Let's go ahead and make sure this has a good varnish. Good adherence all the way around. You may get a few bubbles. That means you just didn't lay it or manipulate it enough. It's okay. You won't be able to see them. Okay. This one, let's go ahead and pick our backing off. If your Scor-Tape comes up with the backing, that means that you did not varnish enough. So it's not adhered to your paper. Very simple. All you do is leave the backing and varnish it. That's it. Okay, a little scribble here. And again, you can meet the pieces or overlap. I think I'm going to go ahead and overlap. All I was doing was trying to see if I could make the skeletons match, but I can't. So I'm just going to go ahead and overlap just that one piece, flip it over, and go by the edge, manipulating the paper as I go. And voila. If you're not fast, by the time you get to this part, your glitter glue is dry. But I was fast. And I don't think I need the whole overlap, but I'm sorry. I'm just going to cut this little tiny piece off. You can keep going if you want, but I didn't want to. Just kind of overlap. And really the reason why I didn't go any further with overlap, because I thought it was funny how the hat ended on the sugar skull. So that was my rhyme to the read. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and ink up the top of the box. Get rid of any raw chipboard or any, the white on the edge of the sugar skull paper. So yes, essentially I am inking the top of the box twice, but I mean, it legit takes a second. Okay, bottom of the box is done. Let's go to video 3, guys.